Well, it's your Shreveport Connection with Tommy, if you didn't know that. Alright, this one's going to be about your TNA wrestling show for next week, being May 20-ish. Let's see, 18, 19, and May 26th episode. But first, you had some returning wrestlers. Being that Pope D'Angelo Dinero, I believe I made the correction last night. Pope is not retired from wrestling. It was the cryptic quote from his Twitter account was not done by him personally. It was done by his, I guess, secretary, you might want to call it. Well, Desmond Wolfe returned to TNA Wrestling during tonight's Explosion taping as the commissioner of the show. So that's going to be his responsibility. But I believe Pope was supposed to be commissioner. That was last night. Pope D'Angelo Dinero worked a match against Suicide at the Explosion taping, so he is still with the TNA Wrestling Company. And also, this was for a tournament for a new championship. I guess we're going to put a Explosion Championship title. Alright, former WCW wrestler also was at the show tonight's taping, and I believe they used him. Disco Inferno. He was at the Impact Zone taping in Orlando, Florida. The word on Disco is that he's making a one-time appearance that will air on next week's show. He previously worked for the company as a wrestler and an agent. TNA Wrestling kicked off a tournament at last night's Explosion taping for the Explosion Championship. I just mentioned the premise of the title is that its holder would be able to challenge any champion on Impact Wrestling. Pope D'Angelo Dinero squared off against Suicide in the opening match of the tournament. And also won, by the way. Haven't pronounced AAA. I'm just going to do this. Assistencia Accessoria Administration, which is the abbreviated AAA promotion, announced last Thursday that Mickie James, Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, and Sexy Star will face Sadie Apache, Mary Apache, Lolita, and Cynthia Marino at the organization's biggest show of the year, Triplemania XIX, which is 19, which takes place on Saturday, June 18th at Palacio de los Deportes in Mexico City. The new TNA Wrestling mobile video game from Namco Bandai will be released this Thursday. It will be available on iPhone, iPad, and Android. And these results are going to be given by, I read them from TNAinsider.com for the spoilers for next week's show. And they have a new setting. There are 2 director-type chairs in the ring. Jeremy Borash and Christy Hemme are the hosts of Impact Wrestling and are out hyping the crowd. Sting's music plays, then a video hits, but it's really Mr. Anderson. Out as the old school Sting, he says this is the Scorpion sit down. Since he can't wrestle due to age, he'll sit down and talk. The crowd boos. He brings out his first guest, Disco Inferno. Disco dances out. Sting says you were there. You saw it all. Disco says you really are, but you are a butthole, huh? Sting asks him what he did to his injured foot. Disco says for comedy he did a Dancing with the Stars. Can we move on? Loud boring chant starts. Sting says he can get boring, but just sits there. Disco tells him to get going. Sting says he was there for guys like Firebreaker, Chip, and Glacier. Since he was there and he wants to hear from Disco's lips what it was like, Disco wondered why he was there, and he figures he wants the real story on Sting. Disco starts to talk about Sting, but Anderson keeps interrupting him with woos. Disco says if he brought him here, he needs to listen. Back then, the belt didn't make the wrestler made the belt. When Sting came around, he commanded respect. When he was there, he'd help everybody get better, and Anderson should be kissing Sting's feet for making the business what it is. As Anderson interrupts, does the Stinger splash to no one. Disco asks why he calls himself a butthole when he's just a jerk. Anderson says, "Excuse me?" Disco asks if he stuttered. He gets up, dances, has the mic dropped down, says jerk into it, and stands there. Anderson takes the mic and bashes it in Disco's face. Disco is bloody now, and Anderson delivers more blows. The real Sting comes out and chases Anderson off through the crowd. Street fight: Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray versus Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles. Styles has a neck brace on, and winners of the match, Spike Piledriver to Dreamer, AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. It was supposedly a good brawl. Up next is Velvet Sky out. She asks if some of the knockouts are insane in the membrane, with the accusations against her from Winter saying she's jealous of Karen Jarrett, saying she's Angle's mistress to ODB's problem with her. She says she's heard she's in the building. ODB then comes out and confronts Velvet. ODB says she got a call. She was fired 6 months into her multi-year deal. She was told it's because she didn't have the right look. Velvet said her problem with management has nothing to do with her. Velvet has been working her butt off day after day, getting her butt kicked, trying to be the best. ODB tells her to shut her pie hole. ODB says she's pathetic and an embarrassment to the knockouts and women in general. That's why Angelina left her. Velvet starts to cry. ODB mocks her. Velvet goes to leave, but ODB attacks her. She is beating and choking Velvet. Security breaks it up, but ODB breaks through and attacks Velvet again. Security grabs ODB and Velvet runs off. Eric Young goes into a bathroom to find Gunner. Gunner goes into a stall that Young goes into a stall that Gunner goes to hit him. Young says, "Hang on. He might have accidentally taken Gunner's belt. He's sorry. He wants to make it up to him and lay down in the ring for Gunner. Gunner says if he doesn't lay down, he'll put him down." For the Olympic gold medals, Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett has been signed for Slammiversary. Matt Morgan versus Jeff Jarrett with Karen. Karen's ankle is wrapped as she's using a crutch. Before the match, Hebner forces Karen to sit further away from the ring. Winner after interference by Scott Steiner is Jeff Jarrett. Karen distracted the referee, and Steiner delivered a flatliner to Morgan. So it looks like Steiner has joined Immortal. So it bees. So it bees that way sometimes. Eric Bischoff is out next, and he says he loves each and every one of us. He said last week he sat down and had a powwow with Mick Foley and some network reps. He convinced the reps that Foley is not qualified to be the leader of Impact Wrestling, and only one man can do that. That man is the one, the only Hulk Hogan. Hogan joins Bischoff in the ring. Hogan says all it took was a good old-fashioned sit-down. He says they realize his genius is second to none. He's back in the saddle. And clear sailing from now on. He says what Bischoff did last week by taking part of the X Division was great. Mick Foley comes out. Hogan says he's not invited. Foley can't start. Foley says he doesn't need to be. He's a network exec. He is a network executive. He says all Hogan accomplished was making the network mad. When Hogan left, Foley showed them how the X Division helped out TNA, but nothing to do with the pay-per-view. Foley says the network is where you promote the pay-per-view. So if you think you can have a pay-per-view without the network, Hogan says he still has a pull, and why not have his X Division champion against Foley? The X-rated Abyss versus Foley. Brian Kendrick, Generation Me, and Amazing Red come out. Kendrick starts pouting philosophical stuff and saying that they're there for good. Hogan says he better shut up and leave. Kendrick calls Hogan a cripple. He says he wants to take Foley's place and face Abyss. Hogan asks if he's serious. Hogan agrees and says Kendrick's blood is on Foley's hands. Next up is your TNA Knockouts Women's Champion, Mickie James versus winner with Angelina Love in a non-title match. Winner by last kiss goodnight, Mickie James. For the X Division Championship, Abyss versus Brian Kendrick. Winner by Black Hole Slam is Abyss. They retaped the segment with Velvet Sky from earlier in ODB to make it a shorter and more to the point. And then for the TNA TV title, Eric Young versus Gunner. Winner by small package and new champion is Eric Young. Young laid down, but it was a trick as he swerved Gunner and he got small package roll up. And finally, your main event, RVD versus Kurt Angle. Angle wins with an Angle Slam, and that's all. It's said and done. There wasn't much of a detailed report anywhere on the internet. So that's it for this week and for next week's TNA. Thanks for watching, and God bless, and see y'all next week for, of course, Monday Night Raw, and also the WWE pay-per-view for this week over the limit.